On this week's GTA 5 o'clock, GTA 5 The Missing Missions. What was cut from the final build of the game? Plus, is it coming to PC? We update you on the leaked footage and supply further evidence of its existence. This is an episode you don't want to miss. It's all on this week's GTA 5 o'clock. Hello and welcome to this week's GTA 5 o'clock. I am your host James Jarvis and I am joined as ever by co-host Dan Dawkins.
Hello.
Hello there. So Dan, we've got lots to go through this week. Coming up a bit later on, we are going to go through some elements of GTA 5 that were supposedly cut from the final game, including some missing missions. But before that, for those of you who were looking at the channel yesterday, we put up a video about the possibility of GTA 5 coming to PC via some supposedly leaked footage. And Dan, you've got a bit of an update for us on that.
Yeah, a huge update. If you didn't see it yesterday, I produced a 5-minute video where I talked to PC Gamer's Andy Kelly and we went through footage that was supposedly of a leaked developer version of GTA 5. Now, as a piece of footage in isolation, it was actually fairly credible. The big part being like a transition to a menu which contained very familiar PC-style options, such as the ability to change view distance, the FXAA settings, MSAA. It was all produced in a similar style to what we've seen with previous Rockstar games, so it all was quite credible. However, obviously people were skeptical, like why would they do this? Now, what seemed to be the killer blow to this piece of footage's credibility was that last night I was sent a link to another video by a chap on Twitter, Patrick Fox, who's at IOG Official. He sent me a link to a video with footage of Franklin walking up the street, stopping at his pals near the mural, and then carry on walking, going around the corner. Now that seemed to be the exact same footage as was used in the PC leak. I didn't compare them side by side. It's possible they were close but not exactly the same, but it really did seem uncanny.
Yeah. Now
that was definitely running on 360, the source footage, because there was menus popping up and it seemed to be that way. Now what's even weirder is the faker on the PC version must have used this particular piece of footage to create his fake. This particular piece of footage, as it happened, was in itself a pre-release leak of GTA 5, which why he didn't choose an actual piece of footage from GTA 5 that is in the world, and there's no shortage of GTA 5 footage in the world anymore.
At least one you could capture at a high resolution rather than, well, I mean, it adds to your credibility if you film it off on a camcorder. You can easily fake things that way, I guess.
I guess it's easier to fake, but either way, the video of the faker that got taken down by a 2K copyright strike. So that was like, why have they taken this down if it's clearly fake? Because again, Rockstar have taken down sort of fake things before, I think, but more noticeably they took down all the videos related to the famous Xbox 360 achievements leak.
Yeah, including one of ours.
Because as it turned out, it was exactly true. And they also took down all the pre-release videos of story spoilers, because they were pre-release story spoilers. Now, why would they take down this bizarre GTA 5 PC leak if in fact it's based on a leak itself and it's clearly fake? Now, what's even weirder today is the link I was sent by Patrick Fox has in itself been taken down. Now, but this has been taken down, it claims, for reasons of it being like a scam as opposed to it being a copyright infringement.
Yeah.
So it's slightly inconclusive, but weird things are afoot.
Yes. So to clarify then, as it stands now, we are saying that footage that came out yesterday of the supposed PC footage is fake.
Yes.
As far as we know.
Yes, I think all the evidence would suggest that footage is fake. However, the existence of a PC version I don't believe is fake at all. And in fact, I'd probably go on record and saying it's 99.9% going to happen. Now, why do I say that? Well, apart from the fact that I've literally been saying this for 18 months and a lot of my convictions haven't changed. You can watch that in a previous video. It's all related to essentially the idea that, Rockstar are going to want to maximise their money and their return. If they're going to make a PC version, they may as well make a next-gen version because they're essentially based on the same hardware. At some stage, they're going to need to transition GTA Online to the emerging platforms, which is PC and next-gen systems, because they want to be able to monetize GTA Online. Brackets, they have to be able to make GTA Online work first. So there's all sorts of challenges there, but that is what they will want. So I think it's unequivocal there will be a PC version at some stage for all sorts of business and logistical and sensible reasons. Even further than that, there's been like a coalescence of mini leaks in the world, two of which I discussed in the video yesterday, which are a little bit silly. One is is it an Amazon?
It's like an Amazon chat log of one guy going onto the chat log going, I'm trying to download GTA 5 on PC, but I can't find the link, and talking to an Amazon representative, supposedly, who says, it's not out yet, and he's going, but can you check the database? I think it's out in March, and then the Amazon representative says, further to sources, it's out March 12th.
Yeah, that was probably like the weakest, because it seemed the easiest to fake.
Yeah, it's just like a white box that you could just type in anything you wanted, really.
And it was quite plausible in the way it read. So I was sceptical of that on it in isolation, but there's also a story doing the rounds from various like Latin American websites of a interview, and I don't know how this came to light, an interview with a Brazilian retail executive who's responsible for like the digital promotion on a large Brazilian retail website. And he basically came out and said, yes, GTA 5 is coming out in March. I don't believe that's secret anymore. And he said, in fact, I believe it's March the 12th. And he also said he believed it will be like an enhanced or different version of the game, which, as we've said, we expect for many different reasons. So there's those two things, weirdly both pointing at March the 12th, which, I don't know why that day's been plucked out, but it's weird that they would choose those days, unless the Amazon clip was made to reinforce the leak from the other. It's possible, you don't know. Now, on top of all that, again, this is thanks to some great detective work on the GTA forums, where they're discussing the PC version daily with it's not coming, it is coming, this is fake, this is this, and everyone's angry and furious. Now, there was two things. One is that AMD graphics cards manufacturers have released a new driver for one of their graphics cards, and within the sort of beta log for that is some sort of numerical check thing, and there's like a text thing next to it, and it's sort of in a series of vertical columns, spells out GRAN, change column DTH, Grand Theft Auto 5, which is, again, fakeable but totally weird. And if you check the actual patch release, it's all legitimate. We can get those images on screen and show people. There definitely has been that AMD driver update release. That's real. I haven't been through the log myself.
No, but so the release is real, but the text inside that release
could be a fake. We don't know. Now, the thing that has blown my mind today is that, Rockstar, somehow the existence of their entire GTA 5 build log, which is where they log every single change they make to the working build of GTA 5, has got into the public domain. Now, I've got it here. Like, James was astonished to see me come in with it this morning.
Dan came over this morning and almost dropped it on my desk, and there was actual, it's like an earthquake had gone off. It's really, really thick. It's like a giant encyclopedia, this almost book that Dan's printed off. I don't know how many trees have suffered for this, but it is huge.
And I'm flicking through it now. You can hear its depth. It's incredible. Now, I would eat several hats and or trees if this was to be fake, because it would be the most exhaustive and boring fake in the history of fakes. It's like 200 pages of spreadsheets, of data logs, of numbers. It says things like this: 9394 version 03.0.4 2010-902T, and it says build info CB2782010 /10.00, and it's just like, it's interminably boring. And then later on it starts to reference things that actually make a little bit of sense. So then it will say like includes updated release config executables for PS3, include latest script image. It refers to changes in the sniper mechanism. It even talks about interesting things like change Franklin character model. I'm yet to go through this forensically, and I am going to do that and pull out any interesting tidbits. But again, the folk on GTA forums have done a good work for us, and within this exhaustive and huge and crushing build log, there are references to a PC version, an actively built PC version of GTA 5. It's got to the stage where I simply think it's unequivocal that we are going to get GTA 5 on PC. Well, and if we get GTA 5 on PC, we're getting it on next gen.
Yeah, even as you said yesterday, that all previous Rockstar games have come to PC, with the exception of Red Dead, which was because of the studio that you said yesterday. So it's it's not like they don't do it. It's a thing that just comes a bit later on, and has been showed in the history of their games.
Now, the legitimate point that I've made, that people on GTA forums are making, is that quite simply Rockstar are making still a tremendous amount of money out of the PS3 and 360 version of GTA 5. Yes, multi-millions of people have bought it, but they are still buying it, and I think they're probably running it to the margins to go, the minute we announce a PC version, there is a danger of cannibalising direct sales for 20, 30, 40 pounds, whatever the PC, the PS3 or Xbox 360 version goes for. And of course, with every PC release comes the creeping threat of piracy. So I think Rockstar must have that in the back of their mind, like, wow, we don't want to unleash the piracy beast. But they've already made an incredible amount of money. GTA 5 was speculated by analysts to have cost £170 million to make and market. The game has already made over £1 billion.
Yeah, they're doing all right.
It's tipped to make £2 billion, but shareholders and companies being what they are, they're not going to stop if there is a potential to make even more money.
Yeah.
So they are going to want to release on subsequent platforms and monetize it with GTA Online. I'm blue in the face saying it. I'm just 100. Well, I've said 99.9. You never know, they might cancel it inexplicably. I'm 99.99% sure there's a PC version, and I'm pretty sure we're going to hear about it incredibly soon.
Alright, so that is GTA on PC discussed. Moving on now to the next part of the show, which is a supposed list of features and elements that were cut from the final game. And we've got evidence that corroborates some of these points and other things that we can expand on as we go. So we're going to go through these. This has come from an article that went up last year, like I think the 4th of October, on GamePer. I'm not sure where they got all of their information from, but I think most of it is informed speculation, which is what we're great at as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through these things and take them point by point and just discuss them a little bit and see if some of these missing missions are in fact were cut, why they were cut, why we think they were cut, that kind of thing. So let's start off. Their first point, we should say before we go any further, that if you haven't finished GTA 5 by now, number one, what have you been doing? Because it's been out ages. And number two, there are giant spoilers coming up about the storyline of the game and things like that. So if you don't want any of that, stop listening now. If you do, here we go. So number one is a small thing, and they just say that the layout of the city has changed a lot. If you look at the first trailers and character trailers and things, a lot of the cutscenes in the final build are in entirely different locations, and there's different camera angles and things. And then interestingly, they say the Sonora Desert was originally going to be much bigger.
Yeah.
Now, you and Tim went to see the game. You probably didn't see much of the Sonora Desert, but I think we have to be careful of things. Obviously, the locations and environments are going to change during the development of the game. There's going to be different buildings and stuff. But the size of things is hard to get a grip on, because even if you're shown a bit of the game pre-release, you're only shown a very specific part of that. And you could think that the desert is massive because you're driving in like a windy, wiggly line, and you're only in the same area, but instead of going just straight as the crow flies, you're going like all the way around rocks and things, and it makes it look like it's huge. But there is obviously I think when we were doing our mapping project, there was a question of just how big is the desert area going to be. So yeah, that's the first one. The next bit is the first interesting bit that originally, Dan, I'd like to get your thoughts on this. Originally, there was going to be a mansion heist that has been partly coded, that they've been found in the code logs, much like the giant code log of the PC thing you've got there, which was going to be a heist where Michael and Trevor pretended to be a couple being shown around a neighbourhood, and then they went to rob a mansion. Now that would have been quite an interesting game mechanic.
Yeah, I think the idea of... There's a sense, I think, with all of the heists that like ideas were tried, and I maybe, you know, felt like as much as I enjoyed the heists in the game, there was definitely scope for them to go to a different place and maybe be a bit more grand and bombastic. And some of them almost don't feel like heists in the same sense. You do want to go, oh, that was a heist, was it? Now, this idea of the Sharmuta job, it sounds quite entertaining. I like the idea of, obviously, the dynamic of Michael and Trevor's probably the key thread of all of GTA 5. So the idea of them playing some kind of couple is quite amusing. Whether this is some alternative thread of the set of missions where Trevor works with that estate agent guy, you know, where he's like bombing the for sale signs in various different things. Whether this is some sort of spin-off from that, where he brings Michael in, resulting in a heist. Yeah, I don't know. You know, and I don't know how that would have panned out. I guess the sense is you'd have had to have a genuinely enormous mansion to make that work. Yeah. It would have been fun if, as well documented on our channel, that Playboy mansion turned out to be something real.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of, because that is one of the biggest, sort of most expansive environments in the game. It's got a pool and lights, and you know, it looks like it's been worked on quite a lot. And being able to go there and go inside there and having a little walk around would have been really cool. But yeah, I think that could have happened. Supposedly there was a mission involving flying a fighter jet and shooting down buzzards that was removed, as you can see in trailer 2. Now, as we can see on screen, at the very end of trailer 2, there is a jet that flies over the city and shoots down a helicopter, which then explodes. I've seen some people saying, you know, that could just be you flying a jet and shooting down a buzzard, like being chased by the police or something, and it's just a good camera angle that they used to make for that trailer, which is entirely possible. But we know there's a lot of stuff at Fort Zancudo, like the bunker, and there's an elevator in there which does open if you glitch your way into it. Like, there seems to be some stuff around Fort Zancudo that might have been part of some sort of mission structure at some point and has then been taken out, because Fort Zancudo you never actually go to in the game ever.
You do for one bit, I did, where you go with Trevor to recover.
You're right. You go
piece of military equipment.
Yeah.
Is it the cargo bomb?
Yeah, you go and steal the cargo bomb. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, you don't need to go near any of the bunkers or anything to do that.
No, it's almost like you're in and out, and it's not really established in proper context. So,
all right. Now this is true, because I remember this being in the Game Informer article, that there were cutscenes depicting Tracy and Amanda arguing, and Tracy playing an offensive Just Dance type game, so like a rhythm action game on a whatever console they're using in the game. We know Jimmy's got one in his room, so whether she was playing on that or the console had been moved into the front room or something, that I guess would have been like another mini game type thing.
Yeah, Game Informer reported it. Game Informer saw GTA 5 before anyone else. That would suggest that it was a significantly earlier build, and the game sort of went to ground for at least a number of months until anybody saw it again. So it did feel like Game Informer got vertical slices of certain missions and gameplay. It could just be that, looking at if it was a Just Dance style game, quite possibly someone in Rockstar's legal department got cold feet about what they were saying and or doing, and just thought, maybe this isn't worth the risk. You know, maybe we're crossing a boundary with this. Or, you know, maybe it just didn't work in context of the story again and they decided to cut it.
Next up, we've got Vinewood Boulevard Radio. Started out as Night Ride FM, which I think we discussed way back last year about a Night Ride FM being...
a long time ago.
Yeah, that was going to be like a chill wave synth pop station hosted by DJ Kavinsky. There's a list of songs that were taken out of the game. I mean, these are things that probably got taken out of the game for rights and legal reasons.
Again, rights and licensing would have probably banjaxed it, and they've got enough to get by, so it's fine.
Yeah, so all of those kind of things are from that. There was a magazine preview apparently, that I've tried to find online, but can't find the original source yet, that said in Blaine County the nights were so dark that the only source of light were from vehicle headlights. Now, in the finished game, obviously it does go dark, but it doesn't go that dark. Like, it's sort of a hazy, bluey darkness. Did you see any dark? Can you remember that far back when you went to see?
No, I mean, realistically, when Tim and I went to see, let's say, GTA Online, that was August. So by which stage the game was probably in quite an advanced state of preparation. So no, I didn't remember any of that.
I mean, I don't know if that is a good thing or not. Like, I mean, having it that dark, it would certainly give you a sense of the wilderness. But in terms of actual gameplay, I don't know if you'd be able to. You'd have to be crawling along in a car about 3 miles an hour just to make sure you weren't falling off cliffs and things.
It's like a thing you have a cool idea in a meeting where when you implement it in reality it's no fun to play because it's just really, really hard or really slow. So they probably just thought, why bother, we'll just make it quite dark.
A couple of things about voice actors were also in this article. Anthony Cumia of the Opie and Anthony show said that he was going to be in the game as a Breaking Bad-like character, but that character didn't end up being in the final game. Well,
it's worth noting that there is a Breaking Bad style sort of Winnebago wagon that appears. Now, it looks an awful lot like the Breaking Bad car, and it's found poodling along at different times of the day in Blaine County. It's surely a reference to the Breaking Bad people. In fact, there's like 2 dudes in there who look not dissimilar to Jesse and Walt. So, hey, I'm sure they thought about that.
And interestingly, Anthony is listed on IMDb as doing the voice for the Pisswasser theme song.
Oh.
So whether he did loads of things and that's the one he chose to tell people about, I might be doing a Breaking Bad character, and they just did lots. He's done lots of other work for Rockstar before. He was in Red Dead Redemption, Undead Nightmare as Herbert Moon. He did some stuff from Vice City Stories and stuff, so he's obviously worked with them before. So it wouldn't surprise me that they brought him back in and said, can you just read some of these lines and we'll see if it works or not. That could have been a thing. The next is Andy Milikanakis. I think I've said his name right.
Yeah.
I'll probably get told I haven't in the comments. Said on Twitter that he went to the Rockstar offices to do voiceover work, but he wasn't ever in the final game either. Now, he hasn't done any stuff from them before. I guess the American audience listening and watching will know him from the Kroll show, which I think hasn't made it over here yet, but he's in that quite a lot. But obviously there were going to be lots of voice actors and stuff in the game that would have done dummy scripts and test runs and stuff and been invited up just to see who works. You can't just pluck someone out of the air and go, they'll definitely be right for that part. So yeah, they're all things. The real meat of this is the final mission in the game has supposedly, or was at some point, changed. They've said that code within the game reveals that the Death Witch option at the end of the game originally intended to kill Franklin off, replacing him with Lamar, and that there are significantly more animations and lines of dialogue for Lamar than there are for other characters. Now, that could be that it's because Lamar is quite a prominent character in the in Franklin's story anyway. He's obviously going to have more animation sets and lines of dialogue because he's in the game a lot more. But do you think that is a feasible thing that Rockstar may have considered?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's feasible. I just think they'd have come to the decision like they did, where yes, you can kill characters off, but ultimately, if everyone lives, this is the reality of the world we live in, the opportunities for sequels and DLC is much enhanced.
Yeah.
So, commerce ensures a lot of people survive from episode to episode until they've outlived their usefulness. It seems like the canon ending is in fact the 3 characters live ending. So
yeah, I mean, there's been loads of discussion about what the canon ending actually is, but I would suggest that having all 3 characters survive would be the one that Rockstar would follow through on, because, as you say, that's the one that would allow them to expand the story further.
Yeah, unless they were to release single-player DLC that almost did a Mass Effect and carried on from where you were.
Because that went really well.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I'm sure when we shortly find out what their plans are for the extensive single-player DLC, all will become clear. And as I've said before, I would expect the single-player DLC to be not that far away from the announcement of a PC and next-gen version, because including that in those versions would be a great incentive to buy that version.
Alright, so that is today's GTA 5 o'clock.
I just want to say thanks to everyone who watched GTA 5 o'clock live last Friday at 4 PM GMT. If anyone else would like to take part, please let us know when you think would actually be a good time, because we're experimenting with doing it later, probably later in the evening UK time, but whether that works for America and UK, we don't know. US listeners, let us know what works for you. It's really difficult. We play primarily on PS3 because that's where our stats are built up and we've got lots of contacts. We did say we'll play 360, and we will, because obviously a lot of people own the game on 360. It's just that every week seems to make more sense to play it on PS3. But yeah, please let us know, and if any ideas for the show and how we can make GTA 5 live better, join in the comments.
Let us know what you think about those removed features and anything that you'd want in the game in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Dan is off to go and read the GTA 5 changelog.
Yeah, with a giant marker pen. So we'll see how that goes.
So hopefully we'll be back next week with some insights from that and a lot more besides. So we'll see you then. Hi guys, this is James from GTA 5 o'clock.
And I'm Dan.
And we've just finished recording this week's episode. So if you liked it, what should they do, Dan?
You should press the like button and then the subscribe button for more great GTA 5 content every single week.
Excellent. So hit those buttons and we'll see you next week.